All right, here we go. Another day in the shop. I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. We got a lot going on. We got new mechanics, new employees. We got, you guys saw the Great Wall of Tires already. Nothing new to talk about there. I think the transmission's ready to go in this thing so we can use this lift again, which will be awesome. That will probably be on that Buick timing chain first. We'll see. They always have a couple of appointments we have to take care of, get that done. So we're gonna do what we gotta do with that. And you know what we'll do? We'll put clips in of what's going on in today's video so you know in advance. If you don't wanna know, skip ahead a little bit. All right, on this Buick Malibu from the other day, got a beautiful chilly morning this morning. It's about 58 degrees. Got the old snap-on sweatshirt on. You guys know me. Nothing but the best tools and equipment you can buy. If the money and the quality or the need of the tool justifies it, then you buy the good stuff. If you don't have to buy the good stuff, save your money. That's Jimmy's advice. If you're new and you haven't heard yet, I get a lot of opinions on tools and all kinds of things, but everyone does, don't they? Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna get in the shop, get this place opened up, try to learn a thing or two, and have some fun. Most important thing, put a smile on your face, have some fun. No matter what is going on in the day, you always got oars. You can always just row a little faster. Let's get this place opened up and get started. It's chilly this morning. Stay tuned. All right, on this Buick, I got my water pump all cleaned up, my timing covers all cleaned up, waiting on the water pump gasket. We'll see how long that takes, and then we can pop the bracket. Once the pump's on, then I'll put the belt, the bracket, the mount, AC compressor bracket mount. This thing is just about done. I put oil in it already. 4.5 quarts of 5W30 Dexos or better, which we use synthetic. Shouldn't be too much longer once I get a gasket. It's amazing how a $8 part can hold you up. Oh, I got a new scan tool too. I'm going to do a full video on it. AutoFix D1 Lite. The AutoFix D1 and D1 Lite, the only real difference is the Lite doesn't do Volkswagen and Audi coating, but the regular D1 does it. If you need it, then you get the next one up. But I haven't even opened it up to take a look at it yet. We'll do a video and then we'll use it in the shop a little bit. All right, it's not quite as nice as the metal one that was on there, but it looks like that other one was taken off and siliconed and put back on or something. We're not doing that. We got a Felpro water pump gasket. The problem is this is very fragile compared to the metal one especially. So what I'm going to do is put this in here, get the hose hooked up since it's a little bit of a bear to get hooked up with the pump on. I'd rather kind of put the hose on first, get the clamp on, then lift the pump up. So my plan is to do that, then slip the gasket in behind it and put the bolts in. And that's how I usually do them, but I usually have a metal gasket, but we'll see how it goes with that. There's just no room on these things, so I'm gonna get some long needle nose to hold the hose. On here, hopefully. But I'm going to take the turbo off to reach it. You can see there's a mark on the hose, and it's not quite on all the way, but it's not an original hose. The clamp is past the lip on the plastic tube, and the hose is way past the lip. So the lip on that neck is right here, and that's what matters, so it'll seal. Now I'm ready to sneak the gasket in here. I got the short bolts. I know it goes in this first hole and then the fourth hole, and I believe there's one up here I found where you can see the threads right at the edge of the hole for the shorter bolts. This goes there. Feed my bolt through here. If I got this calculated correctly, we'll be all right. And I'm going to put a bolt through here even though I don't think this is threaded, just because it's easy to get to hold the gasket straight. One more check, make sure it's right. See if I can get, I think it was the third one. 1, 2, 3. I think that was 1, 2. Some of these bolts are, yeah, that's not going to be the right length bolt. Even though the thread started at the beginning, that bolt's got to be about 15 millimeters longer. The two longest bolts are right there. That's where the longest ones seem to go. I got one bolt left. I haven't torqued them yet, but I'm getting them all threaded in, making sure they're all, oh, that must be where it goes. Make sure all my other holes are filled with something. That's it. Hopefully this is the right length, because it's the only one left. Yep, that feels good. Gotta get my torque wrench now. Those are 71 inch-pounds as well. And my torque wrench is kind of acting weird. My Tecton little quarter drive torque wrench, it's kind of weird. I'll show you. It's doing like a spinny, like, and floppy. Kind of a shame. It's 2 years old, I guess. Well, January I think is 2 years. It's on the fritz. Feels like if I pull it and turn it, it'll work. It just happened trying to set it up last night. The problem is, it's hard to be very precise. That should be 71. These just, these inexpensive torque wrenches, they just click and it breaks the tension when you're at the right spec. Seems a little primitive, but it works. It's not aerospace stuff. Somehow I'm thinking aerospace stuff, they'd use like a CSI. What's that company that makes the really high-end torque wrenches? That's probably what they would use, not a Tecton $49 torque wrench. But these all feel good. Alright, that clicked on good. Now, why do they have that tie wrap? I'll find out here shortly. Let's see if it clicks. I doubt it does. There wouldn't be a tie wrap on it probably. Yeah, it doesn't click. They really should have a new connector there, but not my preference, but we'll do what we gotta do. That's one of the things about this business. Mechanics in charge of about 10% of the decisions. So, what I noticed editing my videos yesterday, kind of strange. You guys are only about 2 feet away. It looks like you're like 10 feet away, doesn't it? That GoPro wide angle deal. And when you crop it in, it loses resolution pretty bad. I want to make my videos better for you guys. Of course, I'm just tightening the clamp, nothing exciting. I just want to see if it looks better when I edit it, mostly. Now, you guys know that I like to tighten it till I feel rubber just starting to come up in those worm cutouts, but if you go too far, you'll actually tear the hose and make it leak next to the clamp down the road. And if you don't squeeze it enough, then it's going to leak, of course. So that's why I prefer the constant tension clamps over the worm clamps. I know that's just another thing everyone debates about on the internet, but I don't debate about it. Constant tension clamps are better, period. If you don't think they are, that's okay. You don't have to think the sky is blue and oxygen keeps you alive. Who's your Uncle Bob now? Alright, let me get these bolts in here. Get the belt on it. We'll get this thing together here in no time, hopefully. I looked at a noise complaint really quick for a few minutes. I'll show you that if we get work out of it. But Cadillac SUV with a squeaky strut and a wheel bearing noise. and he's waiting, so I don't know if anything's gonna happen of it. That's beautiful, isn't it? 2017 Cadillac. I think they call it an MTX or something like that. Front wheel drive V6. It's just basically like a Chevy Equinox. This right front strut, and then the left front wheel bearing. Let's see what happens with it. It's only got 59,000 miles. Cadillac. Now, let's get a belt on there. Oh, you know what? I can't put the belt on. I got the compressor and the bracket off. Oh, that's awkward. I need the bracket on there to have the motor held up to do the compressor and bracket. And I need the compressor and bracket on there to do the belt on, to put the motor mount on. I'm going to have to lift it up, put the pole jack under it, get the compressor and bracket on, let it down, do the belt and the mount. That should be plenty. Yeah. All my bolts, 3 compressor bolts, 3 bracket bolts. We are creeping ever and ever closer to new car status. I gotta make sure I got it goes like that. Okay, that's the problem. We'll figure it out eventually. We always do. Listen here, man. I'm asking nicely. It's not going to be nice much longer. My friend's chuckling right now, going, what's he doing? Just trying to get one bolt started, the rest will be easy. Alright. Whew, finally. I wasn't so sure it was going to happen. Now we're cooking. I'm gonna get these 3 bolts in this. We'll put the exhaust in. Then we'll be basically done under here except for plastic splash panels.
Oh boy. Not a lot of room in here. We'll get it.
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't look at the print on the belt, but I would hope GM put it on correctly. It's actually in good shape. Held up better than the gaskets.
No, it's not that.
So we're going to do this. And I believe it goes like that. I am not very tall. And I do have an adjustable lift, but I can't go over to it, adjust it with the pole jack under the motor. So we'll make do. Probably got to go on a smooth pulley last, if it fits at all. I don't have it completely untensioned. I just have this pin which is pretty sloppy. I'm gonna have to get a tool in there. E14. The pin lets you get the belt above it, because if the belt's below it, you can't get it on the pulley, right? So all I'm using this pin for is just so I can get a tool in there. Turkeys. Still doesn't fit. What do you do now? Maybe if I take the pin out, it'll go further. Yeah, there you go. The pin actually stops it from going all the way. Cool. And it doesn't fit in between the crank and this. You guys are awesome. I love Bill and Bob. Let me keep rocking it and playing with it until I go blind. I mean, until I get it on. There it is. My goodness gracious, what are you guys doing, man? It used to be an easy job. Now putting a belt on, you're taking motor mounts off and stuff. And just, I don't get it. I guess I never will. But I'll make some cool stickers making fun of engineers for it. Do engineers have shirts and stickers talking about mechanics? They probably do. They discuss them at golf. Now fitting this in is a whole nother fiasco, because you kind of need the belt out of your way to do it, but you got to take this out through the belt. So it's kind of a cool setup they got. And basically what I'm doing is I'm going to creep the engine up just slightly, a little at a time, until I get this mount in. I don't want to crank it up and break things, because there's hoses and things attached. Get these two bolts past, then I can put the bottom bolt in, hopefully from the bottom, by letting the motor go back down and get that one in, because I definitely can't get this in place with the bolt in the bracket. Eventually it's going to clear. There you go. See? It's a big deal, man. It's easy. Now you can't put that upper mount on like I want to right now, because I don't have the bottom bolt in yet. But I will soon enough. Now, that one's easy. Now tighten that, put it back down on the jack stand, and get the other two from the top, and put that mount in. A little bit of coolant, a few other little touch-up things, and air box. That's all the easy stuff. That barely clears. But it clears. Alright, these aren't going to line up because the motor's got to get pushed back a little bit. But I think I can kind of get these started first. So it's a little easier of a fight. There we go. Everything's coming up roses. Everything's going my way. These are all 15s. I'll probably use my 3/8 impact. Now this is floating. When I lift it up, that's going to drop. Alright, Malibu from the other day, they can't get it programmed. They're saying that it looks like the module we got is a used one from GM, and it can't be overwritten. Doesn't make sense to me. I wasn't doing it. I found a bolt for that, by the way. I'll put the old module back in so we can get this car out of the bay. We're gonna have to sort that out with the dealer. The problem is this was glued shut. It wasn't re-taped or anything. It doesn't look used. And also GMs can usually be overwritten, so I don't know. They'll give me another one. We'll try it again. Just to update you guys, it's gonna be next week. We'll see. Alright. At least now it runs. It'll just have a purge code and run weird, but I did plug the purge back in. So we're going to update on this one when we do more work on it. Try to get back on that Buick, get that done today at least. It's one of those things in this business that, you know, let's do a little rant. Advanced warning. You look in the labor guide, it says 0.6 to do an ECM, but they don't take into account the 4 hours that you screw with it on and off and redo it and get wrong or defective parts and call do-over and stuff like that. And it seems like lately it's every single job you do. We will see what happens. I'm going to put it in here behind the fence in a safe spot. I think it's going to take a few days to get another ECM to try. I'm not expecting a different result though. It's kind of weird. I don't know. It was behaving irrationally when I hooked my scanner to it last week. It wouldn't communicate. And even though it's a new PCM, it should communicate and give you a programming not completed code or something like that. At least in my experience. What do you guys think? 2018, not much different than a 2009 or 12, or I've done them up to about 15. So it is a little new. Maybe it's totally different. Look at this out here. The transmission is done on a Silverado. Oh. But the steering column's apart on the Corvette. Alright, now quick air box install. They're that much closer. This goes in here. Map. Looks like someone's got some kind of weather stripping cement on there. Big no-no. Use the clamp, don't glue it. So much weird stuff going on nowadays. Watching poor Ivan from Pine Hollow. Oh, that's not an 8. That one's a 7. Watching poor Ivan from Pine Hollow working at 93 Alante. Kelly Bundy used to advertise for it. The new Cadillac Alante. Remember that? Some of you guys might not be old enough. This fits in here. A couple snaps, huh? Some coolant. We should be able to fire this thing up. Alright, tires are aired up, back to work. Might remember too, this one I think has a leak from that coolant housing on the back of the head. Looks like it's been done already, so I don't know if the gasket's out of place or it's just the new one's broken. They're usually cheap aftermarket replacements, don't last. You know, the factory one goes bad in the first place is bad enough, but then the replacement one you put doesn't last half as long as the original one, kind of thing. But I think we're going to put coolant in it, see how it goes, see how it's leaking. There's nothing on the paperwork about it, but everyone knows, I'm pretty sure. I'll mention it to them real quick and we'll see what we're going to do with it and get some coolant in it. Get this out of the way now. I only did it so because the hood prop's right where all the work's happening. I don't want that thing in my way. Plus I opened the hood another couple inches higher just to feel better. Got some coolant in it. We're going to rock it, see how it goes, see how bad it's leaking, and then decide what we're doing with that. The insurance company wouldn't cover it. We're going to fire it up, let it run a minute or two, make sure nothing catastrophic's going on, see if it'll burp a little bit, and we'll go from there. I'm not feeling brave enough to put all the underbelly pans on because the only thing that would make it worse having to redo it is having to redo all those plastic screws and everything. Let's see. Got TPMS codes. Nice and quiet. We'll let it run a little bit. Check it for leaks. Then we can put everything back together if everything's good. I suspect it will be. We got coolant flow, which also means it's trying to push any air out through this bleed hose. This system's pretty good because this is mounted so high and puts air back in the reservoir as it's circulating coolant. So you usually don't have to vacuum fill these. Some cars are pickier than others. I got a bad habit, don't do it, Jimmy does. I got a bad habit of trying it on almost every car. And then when I have a problem, then I get the vacuum tool out. And 9 times out of 10 it works, I save a bunch of time. But that 1 out of 10 times, then you pay it back a little bit. So far, so good. Gravity check. European Desires is what they have over at GM apparently. I'm missing about 18 clips and screws. We'll figure something out. We got missing push pins. We got to back the Cadillac out. He's going to the UK for a while. He might fix it when he gets back. So these push pins should fit. They're new, they're a little snug. Alright, we could clean up, no leaks. Everything looks pretty good. I'm gonna give it another once over and get the wheels on it. Alright, fan cycled off, everything looks good. I'll take this thing for a drive. If everything's good to go, you won't see it again, at least till next week. Maybe they want the TPMS fixed or some of the other problems it has, the seat's broken, stuff like that. But we'll see, and hopefully we'll come back with something fresh and new. Got a lot of music going on in the background, but you guys remember this one from last week? The last time we met? Valve cover gaskets and front brakes. 2013 Honda Crosstour with 181,000 miles. That's what we're gonna do now. And take a look at the brakes, show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, they're pretty low. So we got rotors and pads, we got valve cover gaskets. He didn't get me the Plenum gaskets. I'm guessing he doesn't know that you gotta take the Plenum off on these to do the gaskets for the valve covers. We're gonna let him know while we work on the brakes though. How about that? So we'll have our Plenum gaskets when we're ready. Daddy long legs. Come here. Here, little fella. I thought it was a dangerous spider for a second. I'm like, ooh. But he's over here somewhere. There he is. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Get out of here, will you? I don't want to hurt you. Just go somewhere else. That's all. That's all I need. A little cooperation. Uh-oh. Them slides ain't going anywhere. 19 millimeter on the caliper pad bracket. Uh-oh. Poor little right angle can't do it. Just for effective content and comparison's sake, we'll see if the little 3/8 can do it. The regular 3/8 in the back. Alright, on to bigger and better things. Got my gray pneumatic, 19 swivelly. Half-inch drive can't do it. Well, I know for sure they weren't going to fall off. Honda tight. Trying to be real careful with the music in the background, so I might have to do voiceovers, but I got one more wheel to do. I'm going to knock it out. When we come back, we'll be on a valve cover gaskets. Got to pull connectors out of here. Hoses, got another hose. This plenum's got to come off to do these valve cover gaskets. You can see there's valve cover bolts under here. That's not going to come off otherwise. So we'll just sneak some of these things out of here. Hopefully none of these hoses will break. We'll have to replace them if they do. But they're usually okay on these. And that looks like that's broken. Look at that thing. I didn't do it. Look at that. That's interesting. It's very rusty and corroded. I'm hoping valve cover bolts aren't going to break off in the head. I don't. It's like 3.5 hours labor or something like that. And it'll probably take 3.5 hours, I'm guessing. That's how it's been going lately. This is where it gets a little weird, because Honda's got a throttle body coolant hose attached to the breather hose that goes to the valve cover for the air inlet, and you can't get this clamp off because it doesn't clear here to get it out of the way. Interesting setup they have. I sprayed a little PB blaster in there. I feel compelled to get this electrical connector off of here. I feel compelled to, doesn't mean I'm gonna, because it's on there pretty good. Something's happening. Alright, it's 2013, but because it's from up north, it's showing a little more wear and tear than that. Don't let it deter you, it's not going to deter me. I'm going to go all Eric-O on this thing. I'm going to get this strut brace out of the way, because to do the rear valve cover is just a lot easier with it not there. And let this soak and come back to pulling this apart. Yeah, it's going to be, I'm going to have to go deeper. Don't you worry your pretty little head, I got something for it. 12mm deep. Oh, tell me that's a different size than the others? I thought they should have been 14. I guess this is a 14. And is that thing on your tube? I've never seen a strut brace with so many bolts on it. Maybe it doesn't go under that? I don't know. What do you think? I don't think it does. Let's go loosen the other side, see what happens. 13. There's the extra bolts we need to get to. One more. There had to be something else going on. Oh yeah. I was gonna try to be sneaky and lift this plenum off and pull it out of this boot, but I quickly realized the errors of my ways, and there's coolant hoses to the throttle body, and you know, Honda stuff. So my plan now is to take this airbox lid out, then I can lift that off, then I can unbolt the throttle body, then I can lift this off the studs, because 2 of those bolts you saw me removing are studs that the plenum slides down onto. It helps a lot going back together, but makes for more work taking it apart. And everything on this car, even the air cleaner bolts are rotted. I think this one over here was never tightened or broken or something. We'll investigate once we get this apart. Yeah, see, no one really likes to dig into these air filters because they're a pain in the patootie. And the last thing anyone wants is to have pain in their patootie. That's something we all can agree on, I think. This has to come off, and it's aggravating me a little bit, I gotta admit. So I can't hold both and twist it and Can't get all crazy on it. Ugh. Oh my goodness gracious, man. It spins, but it ain't coming off. I want it out of my way. Oh, I know this is gonna get me really good right here. That's what it's waiting for, just for my hand to be in just the right spot where I can get the most meat. You think I'm kidding? You guys, those of you who've worked on cars, you know what I'm talking about. It's gonna happen. So, we'll set up a flesh reinforcement device. See if that'll help.
So the truck driver comes in, he has to go up front, not just drop us the key and run off?
Preferably up front so they know the car's here and stuff. And they'll tell them where to put it, whatever else.
Yeah, if you just drop it off and I'm just like, he's like, hey, you go, buddy, I don't have no brakes. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm too new here to make that call.
Go up front.
Go up front and talk to the other.
Yeah, I'll usually take the keys from them if they look like they're in a big rush, but
yeah, like, we kind of locked eyes and it was just like,
then you got to stop what you're doing, bring the keys up front and go, hey, this tow truck driver handed me these keys. I don't know what it's for.
Exactly.
At least that way they know. Let's see here. You are killing me, broski. I mean, what are you guys thinking, man? This is gonna split unless they get one of these. That's what's gonna happen, I think. I'm trying to avoid it, but my hopes are dwindling as time goes on. Oh, something's happening. Oh, that's split. There you go. That's why it's coming off. Okay. Once you do that, it comes right off. It's a big deal. Don't fight it. Just let it happen. Alright, now, it should simplify things. Emphasis on should. Nothing ever really gets simpler. But we've got closer. Oh boy. Look at that son of a gun. It practically falls off. Alright, listen here. You gotta get these connectors off. Preferably without breaking them. I'm gonna do what I can, but it's really not up to me what happens. That's one of the best ways to get yourself through the day when you're a mechanic, whatever profession. Things out of your control, don't sweat it. Do the best you can. Try not to let them break. If they break, you go, I need this, it broke. Just don't try to hide it. That's when it becomes a problem. Like that air inlet breaking. That's, you guys, I waited a good 15-20 minutes for it to soak, and I tried to work it off of there, and it just wasn't happening. The rubber was not, all that rubber had to do was let go about, 30-40 thousandths to slide apart. Wouldn't do it because it's too old and set in its ways. Kind of like this guy. Some 10s hold this harness on. We'll pull the coils out. Dipstick. If we can get this harness out of the way, that valve covers just 10s around the perimeter. Now, I've got to pull this off of here and this off of here. If you guys watch my other videos when I've done valve covers on a V6, the last one I did was on a Ford Escape or something. A lot of guys will take both sides apart, get the valve covers off the whole engine, but I don't like to have the whole engine open like that. Plus, not this one, but a lot of them, you got to pull so much stuff out of the way, you need somewhere to put it. So I'll pull the stuff out of the way, do the front, put everything back, and then do the rear. That's just how I break it up. There's no right or wrong way, but that's how I do it. So you'll see me doing this front one start to finish and getting it done. Then I'll do the back one. Man, this harness is all the stiff plastic. I might have to see if I can sneak the valve cover out from under that harness because I can't quite get it. We'll see. If I can find the bolt for these plastic housings and let it relax a little more, I think we'll be better off. I disconnected the battery so I can discombobulate the alternator. Hoping that gives me quite a bit more room. This goes down to like the transmission or something crazy like that. It's 4 bolts in the front, 4 in the back. I don't see any in the middle. Oh, look at that. I wonder how long that's been bouncing around down there. It's like a free rubber grommet. As dry rotted as everything is, that's why it's leaking, because this has a shouldered bolt. Just holds it down. It's up to the gasket to remain pliable. Once the gasket's no longer pliable, and that's why you have a rag. Tell you what, it's looking pretty good for 180 something thousand miles. You guys saw the video where I checked this car, I hope. Happy to see that. It's not perfect, but for that much mileage, I'll take it. I've seen cars with 60,000 miles on it that aren't that clean. Well, these spark plug tube seals have definitely turned to plastic, but I'm noticing something else. You see it? Looks like these are replaceable with bolts. But that would mean there's another seal under there. Interesting. They're definitely all breaking, so there's nothing I can do about that part. Let's see. Yep, this is gonna have to be a different valve cover set, I'm thinking. That's a bummer. Well, everything has a life expectancy.
And then I get the top.
You guys broke your own stand.
You're like, what the fuck is this?
But luckily I got a new one. No worries.
You think you can help us out?
They're gonna have to get these monstrosities. I'm guessing the whole valve cover set's gonna be different. It's actually bolts and nuts in here, which is kind of spooky, because couldn't that fall in the engine if they unthread? I guess they probably wouldn't, would they? Otherwise it would be a problem. Alright guys, interesting day. The valve cover gaskets are wrong and the tube seals are wrong, and all because the valve covers are wrong. That's why it had those little washers for the bolts, and those bolts don't take those washers. Very strange. I should have known something was wrong right off the bat. Could have had them get the right ones a lot sooner, but we're working on it. The guy with the Prius with the rack and pinion problem from last week, he wanted to know if I could just replace that bushing in the rack. And I tried to explain how your rack has 370,000 miles on it. You probably don't want to do that. But he doesn't think I was right, so he showed me a picture of that electric motor bushing that like the Hyundais have. But in any event, I showed you guys the rack wobbling, right? All right, that's where we're leaving it, man. We're gonna button this place up and get back on that Honda tomorrow, see if we can get something done with that, get the right valve cover gaskets. I gotta look at the Plenum gaskets and hope they're right too, just in case they're not right. Because if the valve cover gaskets are right, why would those be right? We had some fun, we learned a thing or two, and we got that Buick done. That lady's happy, so let's call it a day. Torque the like button before you head out. Share the video if you know someone who might be interested in some auto repair videos. I have individual repair videos. I did a few of them last week. You guys might have saw. Some people were like, I saw this one. But those videos are for someone looking to figure out a repair and get a little bit of guidance if they want to try to fix something themselves, or just to see what a mechanic does in individual repair. That's why I did that. But plus it gives you guys something to watch if you wanted. I took videos that were 2 or 3 days and made them into one day, try to make a little more sense. In any event, thanks for watching. I hope I see you in the next video. You're awesome.